Hey guys, I'm Landon. This is James here. We're gonna start doing a podcast for you guys, and these are gonna be coming out regularly. And these are gonna have shout outs for the reps, company announcements, and then we're gonna just be bringing in reps throughout the company, top performers, so we can really kind of dive deep into their mindset, their routines, their habits, so you guys can get to know them on a more personal level and hopefully take some gold nuggets and apply them to your own lives and into your sales. Yeah, we'll also bring in some high-level entrepreneurs onto the show, so you guys can kind of dive deep into their mindset and their mentality, because I know you guys we're all like-minded in the sense that we all work for ourselves. We're always eager to learn and to grow, and entrepreneurs are really good examples of that. But for this first episode, we just got me and James here, some of the owners here at Revival, so that you guys can get to know us a little bit more on a personal level. And
I'm excited about this because I think I've been thinking a lot about communication just within the company, and it's so important to just make sure things are communicated quickly and efficiently and as soon as possible. And so if we're doing stuff like this, and I even thought about maybe doing like company emails weekly or something like that, just to make sure that when we're doing shout outs or making any sort of adjustments, everyone can quickly get on the same page. So I'm excited about podcasts like this. Just another way to get information and just stuff that will really benefit the reps and even like other people in the company. I think installers and stuff that they're watching stuff like this. I think it'd be good just to get information out there quickly.
yeah, and I'll say something that me and James, I don't want to put words in your mouth, yeah, but something that we crave as owners is to have a better relationship with you guys. And unfortunately, it's really hard for us to get out and have really deep one-on-one conversations with every single rep that comes through the door. So I'm really excited to take the opportunity to have someone in here. Hopefully I can get someone in here every single week and take 45 minutes to an hour and have a really good conversation with you. And then, everyone else in the company can see that conversation and they can feel like they get to know everyone on an individual level. So that's kind of the goal of this podcast. We're super excited to get going with Russ.
Yeah, I've been out the last like 6-7 weeks. My wife just had a baby. So we have a 7-month-old, so a little tired, lack of sleep and stuff. But
Yeah,
but with a lot of people getting hired out in the Denver office and Boise starting soon, even like Orem and Kaysville, like I just haven't I don't know much of you right now just because I've been gone. I mean, a lot of the training videos you see of me, I'm clean shaven. I got this beard now, so I've never grown a beard before.
you guys missed it.
I'll probably
It got really thick there for a minute. This is the trip to back version.
I'll probably take it off come Halloween. I'm supposed to be Where's Waldo for Halloween.
Oh yeah,
Oh no, not Where's Waldo. Sorry, my kids will. Where's Waldo? I'm Oddlaw. Have you ever done those books? It's like his cousin. He's like the yellow and black stripes. He's got a mustache. I'm gonna keep the mustache for Halloween.
nice.
But yeah, so I like you guys might not even recognize me, but I'm back now, and then I get super involved, and yeah, we do want to get to know all the reps as much as we can, provide as much value as we can to you guys, and that's part of the mission. Doing a podcast like this.
So let's start off. We've got a few shout outs. So we just barely wrapped up the Revival of the Fittest competition, and that was a ton of fun. I love like looking at the leaderboards and watching people that are neck to neck on a competition, and it's down to just like the decision makers. And you got guys out there knocking till 9 p.m. I'm totally blanking on who. Someone was up in Kaysville, and if I'm remembering correctly, I think I heard that someone actually got hit by a car.
What?
Yeah, they got hit by a car while they were knocking, but they were going neck to neck with someone else, and he freaking kept going, dude. And he won. That was awesome. So shout out. I'm so sorry I'm forgetting exactly who it was up there.
How do you even hear about
But I know it was someone up in Kaysville. So like I love watching the determination of the reps to just beat their opponent. So big shout out to our Kaysville office. They actually took a full sweep, and all 4 seats for the semifinals were from Kaysville. So I think they're getting ready to defend their championship title from Turf Wars last year. We've got our annual Turf Wars competition coming up about a month from now. So Orem, Denver, Boise, you guys better watch out. Kaysville's coming back for a second title in a row.
Repeat.
Yep, yep. Also, big shout out to Jake Garrett. Okay, this guy took first. He went 5 matches undefeated and took first place in the Revival of the Fittest competition. That was our first one, so you made history, Jake. Congratulations, you're the first Revival of the Fittest champion. Another shout out is our Orem office. Okay, these guys, they just barely broke our company record with 1.5 million just as a single office in 1 month, which is freaking awesome. I love seeing that. Way to go, guys.
All right, cool.
Cool. So those are all of our shout outs for this week. Stay tuned for more shout outs in our next episode. But let's dive in. I want you guys to know me and know James on a more personal level. So James, you want to start us off?
Well, I guess I don't know where to start. Just kind of like my background. I guess I'll talk like I'm talking to somebody out in Denver or Boise who's just hired or just getting involved with us at Revival. Because maybe people here in Orem know me. I'm kind of born and raised in Orem. I grew up in Vegas for a little part of my life, and my parents moved down there for a couple of years, and then we moved back. So I call Orem home. And yeah, I guess growing up, let's see, I'll get a little more personal, I guess, just telling you a little more details. Some things that really like define, I guess, who I am. I often, I guess, I share that I'm dyslexic. That's something that's kind of like interesting. I really still to this day have a hard time like reading my kids' bedtime stories. Like I just don't like reading. I'll like read a lot of books, but I'm just audible, like listening to books. Which we're gonna get the new Audible account fixed, and everyone's gonna get on the company Audible here soon. We're working on that. Yeah, everything is on this week. I promise. But that's something I shared just because I think from an early age I actually was struggling, like second, third grade, and I had to do like extra like tutor like hours reading. And I remember in third grade it was like all that school year coming home and doing like an extra hour and a half of reading with like a tutor at my house.
Yeah, it's a lot of work.
After school and for third grader, that's just like not fun. But I think just that experience gave me this confidence of like, hey, I can do hard things. I can overcome like challenges. And in that experience, it was just like my willpower, like putting a lot of extra work in, like work ethic. And so from a very young age, I just felt like I had this like strong work ethic that was instilled in me. Also, my parents and brothers and siblings, I'm the 10th of 11 kids. My parents had 5 girls, then 5 boys, and then a girl. So I'm the last boy out of the group.
Good. 5 and then 5?
Yeah, just in that order.
That's actually
super crazy.
That was crazy.
And yeah, a lot of great siblings are kind of great, like raising me in my childhood. I played lots of sports growing up, like basketball. I really loved playing football through junior high, and high school was like my dream to play BYU football. And as I got into my senior year, I just could not put on weight. I'm still kind of like go to the gym. I can't.
Was your brother playing college football when you were in high school?
Yeah, I have a brother that play at BYU, and I always kind of wanted to do that, but I just couldn't put on weight. So that dream was crushed. But a lot of the things in football too was like I was just taught that like I wasn't always the biggest or the fastest or anything, but I had a very, high school football career, but successful like experience in high school sports, and it was all because of like my work ethic. It really, I felt like didn't have anything to do with like my natural ability. It was just I was willing to like outwork people. And so then after the high school, I went did serve a mission. So a mission is something I'm a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and not everybody, but like you can choose to go on a mission where they send you off some place for 2 years, and you just teach people about Jesus Christ. And I did that. I got sent to Taiwan, so they speak Mandarin Chinese there, and
So hard.
that was another experience where it's just like, oh, I'm dyslexic. I always hated, English. I'm not even good at English. How am I supposed to learn Chinese? But actually,
That seems like
I think it was, I thought it was like easier than doing something like Spanish or something. because what's it called? Like it's not doesn't have like an alphabet,
Yeah.
and so a lot of things with dyslexia is you mix like letters up and words up. But with Chinese, they don't characters, and so actually, it didn't actually hurt me too much, but it still took me like a whole year. I remember, like it was like 13 months in until I could sit into a conversation and like not miss anything, like actually understand. And that's just listening, not even speaking. So like I get
log year.
by the end of the 2 years, I was fluent, but trying to keep my Chinese still pretty good. Try to study every once in a while, but another experience where I was just tested, and I think my work ethic kind of just pulled me out of that. So, what were you gonna ask?
That's good to ask. How do you say, hi, my name is James in Chinese?
Well,
I mean, they don't say that.
yeah, 我是叫庞. I translate my name, but James, the actual, I don't know, phonetic translation of that, I don't know. But yeah, got back from the mission and going to school. Like a lot of people here in Utah, you get roped into summer sales, and initially I didn't really want to get involved.
So I'm actually curious on your experience getting roped in. Like, what did that look like for you?
Oh, like
Just who got you into it? Like, what were you ever even like thinking about door-to-door sales when you're on your mission, before the mission?
okay, that's
Or were you like super anti door-to-door?
Speaking of Cade Young right now, he's not listening to this. He just got married. He's a good friend of mine. But and his friend Sam Greer also grew up in my home state. He had done like sales at Vivint, and
Count did?
yeah. Well, no, sorry, Sam Greer.
Oh, same. Okay.
And then he reached out to Cade. He was roommates with me, Quentin Bridger, and so we were like, never heard of like going out and selling something door to door. Never heard of that.
So you had
I had no idea.
cause and effect of like
Sure,
what
when
the door-to-door industry was.
So we were selling that, and then it's like, great. They want us to do your preseason trips. I said, sure, sign me up. I'll go try it. So we went out to New Mexico, and there's 3 days, and I sold something like our very last day. So I did sell, but it was my first experience. And coming back, I was like, that wasn't bad. The group I was with, I just wasn't like vibing, clicking with really, and so I was like, I don't know if I would do it with them, but maybe I do something like that. Then they tried to get us on another trip. They're really trying to get me and then Quentin, Bridger, Kid all to kind of go out. So then we did another trip to Phoenix, like in December, and then getting back, I was working at the BYU testing center, and my manager there was like, "Why were you going?" I said, "I was in Phoenix, like selling alarms." And he said, "Oh, you should sell pest control." I didn't know what pest control was.
So the guy just
So then So then I was like, sure, I'll meet with your guy. And so yeah, you guys all know how that is now. But when I was like, everyone's recruiting everyone at the universities nowadays here in Utah. And I think it's a great opportunity. I think anybody, especially back from the mission or like going to school, you ought to just try knocking doors. You never know if it's gonna change your life. A lot of people it does. It definitely did for me. So I actually ended up selling pest control that first experience, kind of knocking doors. Actually, even before going out, I was like, okay, so I guess I'm gonna do sales. So I actually did some political like signatures. Have you ever heard of that?
Oh yeah.
So I did that for like 2 months. I can't remember what it was, but I was just like going to like Smith's or some grocery store and like bashing people
outside.
Yeah, as they were like putting the groceries away. Hey, sign this piece of paper. I get a couple bucks if you sign. Like, I don't know how I fixed it, but so yeah, I had a lot of siblings tell me not to do it. Again, I have a lot of older siblings. None of them ever did sales. A lot of them had buddies do it, or like people trying to get them to do it. I think
It's rising of all your siblings.
I think
You're the first one to do sales.
yeah, and all my brother-in-laws and brothers, they all were kind of in this Utah County, and all of them knew about it, but never did it. And I think a lot of them just had friends or heard like the sour stories, which there are a lot of sour stories out there at like companies. Like companies like this can spring up real quick, but just because you can start the company does not mean you're good at running the company. And so a lot of companies, start, they do 1 or 2 summers or 1-2 years, and they don't cash flow well or anything, and they go out of business. And then you get reps that don't get paid, and housing situations, they're stuck with the bill, and it's just really sad. So they were telling me, don't do it. My mom was like, don't do it. When I told my dad, I was like, hey, I think pretty confident I can go out and make like 30 grand in like 4 months. And my dad was like, well, you should do that.
Airflow intelligence out, and your dad's like,
Yeah, we're just really like, yeah, you should at least give it a try,
yeah,
Like, what's the worst that can happen?
yeah. And then coming from an entrepreneur, right? Your dad,
Yeah.
very entrepreneur.
Right. My dad's kind of just like started a couple businesses, and maybe we could share those stories another time. But so that kind of gave me the confidence, and that's one thing. Like, if you're gonna do a job like this, I'm super grateful for like my parents, I guess, because I got no handouts really from my parents, right? Like it's not like my parents are paying for schooling or anything. But what my parents did do is they gave me confident like fallback plan. Like, I always knew if things didn't work out, worst case scenario, I can move it back in with mom and dad. There's food in the cupboard, and that was like a psychological like hack for me. Like, I just knew that like I like to think like worst case scenario a lot of times. Like, and that's what allows me to like take risks, I think, is like, well, I can do this, and what's the worst that can happen? Like, really, what is the very worst? Even now, sitting in this chair, I think, what's the worst that can happen? My house burns down, company like flips, just terrible things happen. I can move back to my mom and dad. They got food free. That's a terrible way to think about it, but it's really a cool like a little bit of a mental hack for me. Just thinking like, okay, worst case, I've really got a pretty good life, and that's, I feel like, what my dad and my parents kind of provided for me. So decided to bet on myself, go do like a full commission job like this. And then I actually was doing pest control for a couple of years, met Landon that way. So maybe you want to share a little bit of your background.
Yeah,
And yours.
yeah. You know, if you kind of talking about how our paths ended up crossing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I also born and raised in Orb, Utah. Okay, definitely a Utah boy. Similar to James, you said you have how many siblings?
So a little tap.
10. So my family had 9 total. But mine is even crazier. What was it? 5 and 5 is 8 boys and then 1 girl at the end. So she's the baby, the princess of the family. And so I'm the third to youngest. So I have a ton of older brothers. So kind of a little bit crazy of a house. I don't know how my parents did it. Like, that is just like beyond me. How they can manage that many boys.
I have no idea how my mom did it.
Yeah. Yeah. I'd like.
My dad worked a lot of hours, and so my mom was, I have no idea how they do it.
Yeah.
Me and Caitlin, we have our 4th kid, and we've had kids pretty quick. Our oldest is 5, and we just had our 4th baby girl. So we had a boy, girl, and sometimes we'll talk about how many kids we're gonna have. But I have a big family, and that's like a big part of my identity.
Yeah.
And I really like that. Like, it's fun to be a part of something big that's bigger than me and as close knit as my family is. And I want that for my kids. So I'm like, oh, I want a big family. I say that's like what I want, but it's ultimately totally what Kayla wants. Like, pregnancy is so hard. And when I'm working all these hours, and she's just with the kids all day, it is tough. I don't know how you do 9 kids at 11 kids.
Yeah, we're kind of the same. Yeah, so we've got 3 kids. We're not quite as fast as James and Caitlin. But yeah, my wife always says she wants 12.
Is she still saying that?
No. She said that. She always said that. And I was like, 7 would be good. And now we're like, 1 at a time, 1 at a time. It's a lot. So yeah, I grew up with a big family. Loved it. I'm grateful that I did grow up in a big family. I feel like I am who I am because of the environment that I grew up in. So I actually have an interesting background. I did not plan on doing sales ever. Now, unlike James, I feel like I did have a connotation. I did know about sales, like coming off of my mission. I had, I don't know even how I knew about sales because it's still somewhat new. It wasn't like as big of a thing as it is now, for sure. But just like going to college, it's all around. You got all the sales bros. And I remember actually one time, it's funny. It's actually, I think it was a guy from Aptiv. I'm like sitting doing my my homework or something at like a cafeteria bench, and this random dude, and I'm pretty introverted. This random dude just like comes and like sits right next to me. I'm like, well, why is this guy sitting right by me? And he's like, hey dude, how you doing? I'm like, good. I'm like, just doing my homework. Leave me alone. I didn't say that. He's like, yeah, so I'm just going around. I'm just trying to make some friends here. I'm like, okay, cool. I'll be nice to this guy or whatever. And then he like starts to just ask all these questions, and then like does the whole bait and switch. He's like, yeah, so really you should come out and try to do sales. I run the sales team. I'm like, dude, that totally rubbed me the wrong way that he's like,
Because of the bait and switch.
yeah, because of the bait and switch and trying to just like butter me up, trying to become my friend, and just that he could recruit me and make money off of me. So that like put a sour taste in my mouth. I was like, who are these like sales guys? Like everyone, and then after that, like everyone was trying to recruit me. And so I was like, nah, dude, this is not for me. I'm an introvert. I could never go and just like talk to people. And then I had a brother-in-law that was selling pest control. This is for Fox Pest Control. And yeah, I knew he'd been doing that all the time while I was on my mission, which by the way, I served a mission as well. And I served in Ukraine, Russian speaking. That a lot of crazy stories on that. Maybe let's sprinkle a few stories here and there throughout the different seasons of this podcast. But loved my mission, came back and was going to school for nursing. Like I had made up my mind that was a career. I felt like I'd received like revelation and answers that I need to become a not a registered nurse, but a nurse practitioner. And then so I was going to school for that. And then along the path, I like a lesson that I learned throughout life is that a lot of times you get answers just so that I guess like God will give you a direction and you'll feel very clear about it. And it's not until you take that step forward and like act on that the next door opens. And then you act on that and then the next door opens. You got to always be willing to take the next step and follow like what God is opening for you. As that like very much happened for me. I had very clear direction on what I needed to do. I needed to go to school for nursing. I'm like, great, I'm doing it. And then I had clear direction. I'm going to pivot and I'm going to become a CRNA or a nurse anesthetist. So that was my game plan. And then my brother-in-law introduces me to his manager over at Fox. And turns out he's actually a really cool guy. I was like, okay, there are cool, like normal guys in the sales industry. And I think I could work under him. And he's saying it could be a good experience. And he thinks I could do well. Maybe I'll give it a shot. Like, right, what's the worst thing that could happen?
Yes.
Not that bad. So I was married at the time. We had no kids. We went out. We were actually pregnant, I believe. Yeah, with our first kid. And went out to Buffalo, New York. And I was like the top rep on that team. But I've been sold this vision of, don't worry, like this company's totally different than all the other companies. Our culture is the best. We have all these core values. And like that was the pitch. Like it's just like the mission. We even broken it out. You know, we got like district leaders, all that stuff. I'm like, okay. And I thought it was going to be this really awesome culture. And then it turned out to be like not that. You know, they were dropping F-bombs all over the place in their meetings. And music was just like totally crazy pump up music. I'm like, whoa, this is like not for me, but it is a pretty cool job. Like I made a decent amount of money. I mean, back then, I think I made like 30 grand in my first summer, which isn't like anything so crazy. But for me, that was huge.
Yeah.
Like, especially like 6-7 years ago, I was like, sweet. You know, now I can pay for my college tuition because just like you, like my parents did not pay for anything. Like I had to make my own way.
Yeah.
So I was pretty pumped about it. And I thought I was maybe going to go and do sales again. But then at the same time, I was like, you know what? Like the money's great, but I don't want to go back to that. Like I don't like the team or the environment. So I'm probably just not going to do sales. Then I had a buddy that reached out to me who's actually selling with James.
Yeah.
So how do you guys again? You know,
They're Bridget soccer with them. Yeah.
okay, so Bridger played soccer with my friend Zach, and he was like my good high school buddy. And he's like, dude, just come in for a meeting because they're doing an incentive for a Nintendo Switch, and I really want to get it for my wife for Christmas. I'm like, oh my gosh, dude, fine. You know, like, but he's working at Aptiv, and Aptiv at the time, or from what I had been like,
Your perspective.
yeah, like then you manipulated, like brainwashed that Aptiv was like the most like abominable company out there, and there's like preaching evil against Aptiv. So I went in, I know Judd. I was like, wow, this is like literally nothing that everyone has told me about Aptiv is true. And I really liked Judd, and I liked he was just like very direct, very data driven, and just like super straightforward and very logical. Sweet, like I'm actually sold. You know, I'm gonna switch over here, which I had not any intention of doing there. I walked into that meeting with all of my Fox gear and everything. I'm like playing hardball. That's but me and my wife felt really good about it, so we switched over, and like that was like one of the best decisions that I ever made. Because then I met James.
Yeah.
I met Bridger, met Judd, to this day, like we are all working together. We're all super tight knit.
Yeah, great people.
Yeah, and Judd is like a huge mentor for us. And so that's kind of where we
Yeah,
cross
the
paths.
recruiting process, I was just thinking about your recruiting because I similarly like didn't want to be one of those reps that was first off like on the doors. I didn't want to be like a pushy salesman, and I really appreciated the way I was coached to initially approach the door and how we'll coach our reps. Like you don't have to be that annoying like fast talking pushy door to door salesman that a lot of people have that like stereotype of. But also on the recruiting side, yeah, a lot of people have those sour experiences of like a recruiter, and like the a lot of people think the underlining like message is, hey, come work for me because like I get some benefit, you get some benefit. And one thing I really loved about staying in the sales world, the store door world, is learning to like stop caring what people think about me. Like I used to just think about like I used to care what people think about me a lot more than I do now. And I still, I want people to think highly of me, and but mostly just because I feel better about myself when I feel like I'm doing all the right things. And I look up to myself almost like
Yeah.
but I really don't. If I feel good about where I'm at, then I kind of stop worrying about what other people think. So when I first got into the recruiting world, when I was trying to get like Landon to work with us, and we do fun incentives like the Nintendo Switch, and we'll do that for like reps. But for our revival reps, we'll do fun incentives like get buddies in and stuff. But you should never have that feeling like you're just trying to get them in because of the Nintendo Switch, or though that stuff would work. But
Learn from me.
yeah, I really liked I just loved after a year or two in the space, feeling like I was really doing it because it really changed my life, and I really wanted to give the opportunity to other people.
Yeah.
And it came across just more genuine, and so I didn't have to like bait and switch people, like try to be their friend and then like, hey, you should come in. I just kind of like hit like graph. I was interested in working with them, like say, hey, what do you do for work right now? Do you like it? Do you hate it? What do you like about it? What do you not like about it? Do you think you'd ever switch? I'm doing this. I think you'd be a good fit. Like it'd be fun to work with you. This is how it works. I started as a setter, but I got into closing, and you could get into closing. This is kind of how the progression of the company, and see if they're interested. If not, no worries. But I still remember confronting people like that, recruiting people, and I could tell they had this thought like, oh, that guy just wants to make money off me, But that was really never my genuine intention. Was like, look, I want to grow. I want to like help others, and that's how I grow. But helping others is like the main reason. Some of the most like enjoyable experiences I've had in my life are getting other people into the job, and being their mentor and coach, and then maybe they're in a tough life situation or financial situation, and then giving them like the opportunity, tools, mentorship they need to climb themselves out, and they do it themselves. Like I'm just like the facilitator, and people can come into a job like this and totally change the trajectory of their lives for the better. And I like feeling like I'm the one that introduced them and like provided them that opportunity.
There's nothing more satisfying than that.
Yes. So when it comes to like recruiting like that, like sometimes there's a bad connotation. I'm just trying to teach that like I really grew to love that part, giving it that like a positive connotation.
Yeah, I actually think back all the time, like, what if? It's always fun to play like, what if X didn't happen? Like, what if Zach never reached out to me?
Sure, yeah.
To brought me in for a meeting. I would probably, I don't know, be a nurse right now.
Yeah.
Like that is crazy to think. It's like, and sure, I probably have a great life, and there's multiple like good paths that you can take in life. But I'm like so grateful that he did reach out, and that I did come in for a meeting, that I did meet you and Bridger and Judd, and I did have a successful career in pest control, which ultimately led to, pivoting to Windows and starting this company. It's crazy to think all the small decisions that you make. That
we'll get into that. We'll probably share a little bit about because now we're where we met, and probably get into how this company started, right? So maybe we need to do that now, but a lot of it has felt like God sent. And it's kind of a fun play on words with revival. Just because revival sometimes, I remember me and Lana were talking about like, what should we call it? And I actually, my wife, Caitlin, like, hey, what, any ideas? And we were on like this R. We thought like,
yeah,
we're already looking at like our logos and stuff. And then she's like, how about revival? And I was like, texted that to Landon.
I didn't even realize that was Caitlin.
Oh yeah, it was Caitlin's idea. That was revival on Caitlin. I was all like, oh yeah, that's it.
That's it. I vividly remember that phone call, actually. Yeah, I was like, I know exactly which street I was on when we were having that. Once you all, like, dude,
It's like,
that is the one. That is the name.
and I go on, I just look like what domains are available, and all of it's like churches and stuff. And that's one thing I want to do on this podcast is just make sure we're super real. So, I mean, me and Lana are both religious people. We'll probably bring that stuff up quite a bit. And like, we're very family people. We'll bring that stuff up. And, but then we're also, entrepreneurs and owners of this company. So it'll all be about the company and the growth in the company and stuff too. But the whole thing has spelled kind of God sent, because me and Landon, we worked sound pest control for 4 summers, full summers, maybe 5 years
together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I had 2 kids at the time. I had 2 kids, and we had a summer like just having kids is just like tough, especially the pest control. Like the schedule we were working was like 9 to 9, pretty much 6 days a week practically.
Yeah, damn.
And I remember Landon calling me that last summer, like just tips, like how are you doing it, and your housing situation that year was kind of different too.
Dude,
That was the housing situation. That was like back our lives and the town.
it was a dark time. Like, if I think of like what is like some of the hardest times in my life, is that summer.
Yeah,
That was
but it's
so hard. But that was a summer that like changed the trajectory of my life.
again, it's like my like God sent, and living the gains like one of our core values, like looking for the good in every situation. And like, look how much good has come from that having that summer.
100%. Like,
Then like, if you didn't have that summer, then you came home, you were like, oh dude, I cannot drag my wife out again for another like seasonal job like this where I have to relocate. So looking for things to do in Utah, you came across.
yeah, did I touch in a little bit more on that? Like, just to paint this picture, because I know everyone goes through like ups, downs, dark times, good times. Just to paint the picture of like where my mind was at the time. So we just had our second kid, like right before the summer.
Yeah.
She's born in March. And we just bought a house that was built in the 60s.
Did a bunch of remodel.
Had to be gutted. Yeah, and I was like a contractor. I did the whole thing myself. I was working like, all day, every day on this house, trying to get it done so that we weren't just sitting on a mortgage while we're out in the summer and not able to rent it out. So like, had to get that thing finished by beginning of May, end of April, so we could go out for the summer. So it's so stressful. I was in my last semester of college. My wife ended up helping me a little bit actually, but she's like dealing with like, postpartum symptoms, and it's like really hard time for her. 2 kids, trying to finish the house, trying to finish my capstone for nursing and graduate, and trying to prep leading a team for the summer. So like, going into it was like total chaos. Like, the world was against me. It felt like. I remember breaking down in my front yard of that new house with my wife and just like bawling. I'm like, I can't do this. Like, this is so hard. I don't know what I'm gonna do. But we've got to go out there because like, we're gonna be out of money. We just dumped all our money into the house and remodeling it. So we get out there. We're like, all right, we can do this. We've done this before. We've always killed it. We've always doubled our income. Like, let's go do this again. Let's crush it. We're in a fun area. We're in Orange County. And then we get out there and no one could sell. Like, I don't know what happened.
It's a weird funk.
It was so weird.
Yeah.
Like, we had high producing reps on that team, and all of us were doing like half of what we were used to doing before. I was like, wow. Like, at this point, I determined that I wasn't going to go the nursing route. I was going to make pest control, get up into like a divisional and regional, and that was going to be my career. But yeah, that summer, realizing that
Things started like unraveling.
yeah. And so one quote that is like my all-time favorite quote, I tell people all the time, is like, God will either give you what you want or he'll give you something better. And so like, that summer was actually the summer that quote really came to me. And that's ever since then, it's been my all-time favorite quote.
Yeah.
Because I realized like, no, heck no, like, that is not what I wanted, to have a terrible summer and to go through all that hardship. But it did end up turning into something better. And so I don't know, you can kind of tell your side of that summer, because you had a little bit of you were in a different area.
Yeah, we're just like
Slightly.
30 minutes apart. So one thing I wanted to say there was you kind of chose to do those things still. You chose to buy the house, you chose to have the kid, you chose to go out that summer. And something I always want like our reps to understand and like people to understand is something I really believe is like, life is just going to be hard. Like life is just like that. It's gonna be, you're gonna have challenges, and you can either like you can pick your poison. You can choose your part.
Right.
Um, and I think a lot of people might look at like me and Landon, and we've got a lot of people want to get married, have kids, and that's really hard actually, right? No one told me that. It's really hard. And a lot of people want to start a company, and starting this company has been so hard. There's been a lot of like things, and I think a lot of people look at us and they go like, "Oh, they have like that's an awesome life. I want to live that life." And I love my life. I think people should want to, uh, you know, do some things that I've done, but it's been super hard, and I've chosen to make it hard though. And there's a lot of like blessings that have come from that. So like that summer, like you were still choosing to go through all that stuff, and it was hard, but you kind of committed, and then you got through that summer. You still made some money, it wasn't as much as you wanted. I went out, and yeah, everyone was not selling well. I was really the only one that sold more than I did the previous year.
That was like mind blowing to me. It was literally no one but you was selling, and I want to come back to that actually.
Yeah.
And talk about that. What was it like? How were you performing when no one else was? It's like that was not an easy summer for you.
No,
That was really hard. Yeah, so everyone understands you.
voice had a second kid, and then we had all the reps struggling, a lot of reps leaving, stressful. But I did not let it like mentally. I didn't let it get into my knocking hours. Like I was like, okay, beyond the knocking hours, I'll deal with all the reps having a hard time and training and like trying to get people to perform. But like when it's knocking hours, like I'm knocking. I'm not letting that stuff get to me. And then I had my like personal goal of trying to, I mean, as a leader, and like a lot of leaders, like even closers for us and stuff, some of the best thing you can do for the team is just produce yourself, right? To show people, hey, you still got it. And I think that was my mentality. It was like, hey, I got the best thing I can do now is just perform. And so I really just mentally, I feel like I was still in a pretty good spot when I was on the doors. I wasn't like doubting my abilities, or because I think every sales guy can like get into that rut where you just all of a sudden you have a bad week and you're like, oh no, is this the new me? Like, can I not? No, but I don't think I ever got to that point. I never got to that point. I had that self confidence on the doors, and I was able to produce still. And I had a goal that I was striving for, and I was like, I'm not going home till I hit that goal. And that summer, I don't know if you remember it, you guys left, and me and Caitlin got an Airbnb, and I stayed an extra 3.5 weeks by myself.
That was like crazy.
And I missed the first like 3 weeks of school.
See, that is hard. It's like anyone that's done summer sales knows end of the summer,
Yeah,
you're done.
yeah. I always
You're tired.
I stayed out postseason for most of my summers, and it's the first
No camaraderie, literally all by yourself.
Yeah, all by myself. That's because my wife. Sam Caitlin's amazing to like support me that way. It's really hard stuff. But some of my best weeks selling were in August and September, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's just having a goal, like a do or die. Hey, I'm gonna do this, and I'm not gonna let anything stop me from doing it.
So awesome. So yeah, that like being able to have those experiences where you can constantly go back and it's like, I did that. Then I can do this.
So I can do this. Yeah. That's something that has also defined me. I kind of already talked about. I defined myself like having a really strong work ethic, and that's something that's like just from my childhood growing up was just who I am. And then based on my experiences, like I am definitely somebody that when I set a goal, like I'm gonna do it. And that's gotten harder over the years as we've had kids and stuff, because now it's not just my goals. My wife and my kids' goals. Like
Right.
back when you're single, like I could set a goal and I would just, 100 hours a week,
Yeah.
110 hours a week. That's it, and I would do it. I would make it happen whatever it takes. And a little bit now, I'm getting in a better spot, but I kind of struggled a little bit finding a new balance with kids and family, and but we're getting there.
Yeah.
But I want that to just continue to be part of me and part of Revival. Like when we set a goal, 2026 next year or this year, like, hey, we're gonna accomplish X, Y, and Z. We're gonna do it. That's just who we are. That's part of like our identity, and everyone needs to kind of buy into that. And we've already done that. Like our, first year definitely crushed our goals.
Yeah. I remember first time I went to work. we can just do 300K.
We're now in our
Yeah.
yeah
300K, we'll be happy, you know, as a good start. Millions. So,
yeah.
all right, we can do this.
And yeah, we're in our second year and we're opening up Boise right now. We're 4 markets in, and I just want everyone to that's a part of this to know like, hey, we got goals and we're gonna hit our goals. And if you guys stick around, you guys are gonna be a part of this. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, I'm super pumped. Cool. Well, James, it's been fun. Honestly, kind of a few things that I didn't already know. I feel like I knew you already super well. So hopefully this is a little bit eye-opening for to all our Revival reps and employees to be able to get to know me a little bit more on a personal level, James, get excited about the company. But yeah, we'll see you guys on the next episode.